real highest level of protection is the fire power, the power of fire. The rod of iron and the baptism of Holy Ghost and fire. That's the real power. Okay? That's the real power, because old people, young people, doesn't matter. Age doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter. Everybody becomes more dangerous against evil. Because we don't want to see our kids die. Because we don't want to see predators rule the day and mafias running over us and raping our children. Does that make sense? That's why we have the police be militia. That's why we have the rod of iron. So the gun community is not about trying to be badass and look tough. It's not about that. It's about practicing to be deadly because you love people. And you fear if the tyrants take over, if the wicked take over, you know what they will do. The right of self-defense and the right of self-preservation and the preservation of your neighbor is not an American right. It is a human right. I want you to do this. Hit, roll it. So the higher level the people are, in terms of being cognizant of themselves, being, cognizant of others, not being delusional, not being in crazy, self-absorbed dreams about themselves, but actually can care for other people, right? The more they do that, and they learn that people in militia training, you learn how to become more responsible with larger power. We have to seek His kingdom and His righteousness too. Right? Can't only have the power, we gotta also have the love. Remember, we're practicing the actual commandments. Love God, love your neighbor. Right? We're actually practicing to become stronger so we can be better protectors of people. Right? Okay. Good. You see that? Okay? You see how this is not a joke? So that's why it's important for you to see this, and you see I just tore that day and night. So that's what Police Be Militia is about. It's about making peace through strength. Learning these things where you learn discipline of your mind, you learn power, but you learn the basic ethic of love is really absolutely essential in a Christian culture that then has the rod of iron. Okay? But at the same time, that whole society is built on a foundation of Christian love. Christian love. We don't get pissed off easily. We're slow to anger, right? If somebody's cursing us, say, okay, it's not worth it. It's not worth me shooting you. You have here, right in PA, the start of kingdom culture totally taking over, right? And again, most people are not even thinking in that manner, which is the reason why they need the stimulus from the people God has prepared and the true inheritors of the kingdom to empower other people to move from sheep to sheepdog. And that's every single one of us here. Every single one of us here that understands the rod of iron. Amazing that the gun community is now talking about local militias. That is incredible, incredible. And if you have veterans there, if you have former law enforcement agents there, hey, already God has put people in your place and location to step up and give guidance.
The attacker, identified by authorities as
commits mass murder, clearly has a mental health issue.
It starts very quickly. The armed robber comes in with his gun.
We've seen so many mass shootings.
Outrages by evil people.
If you're a part of God's people, I mean, you want to last.
Evil people are always going to want to acquire weapons that essentially terrorize or essentially take away people's rights and ultimately dominate human beings, which is totally, it's totally satanic.
We really take it serious about the actuality and life and death situation, because it's a real living thing.
I think people get confused. It's like, how is shooting a gun loving God? Being able to fight is and defend God's kingdom is loving God. We have to put in the work to also fight to see God's kingdom come, which will be better for everyone.
The importance of peace police and peace militia become more serious topic and issue.
First off, it's got to be God-centered. What are you doing this for yourself? Is this self-worship for you to get better and to get all the ladies and be more masculine for yourself? No.
Really strive to develop ourselves to become children of God, who really wanted to love God and who really wanted to protect God's people.
So the whole thing, essentially, it comes to love, right? These principles that God has for humanity to live by is for the sake of love to flourish. Peace Police, Peace Militia is essentially protecting that love through protecting the principles that God has established.
They should become a peace police, peace militia. It's a basic kind of responsibility as a Chinese nation, because this is the secular world. So we have a actual opponent. So we have to protect ourselves.
It's important for Christians to not only spiritually want the kingdom has to also come physically. You know, I feel a lot of Christians don't really feel the need to fight for it. And if you're not willing to fight for it, then it's not going to happen.
The whole point is that those weapons are for the sake of, again, protecting God's people, maintaining God's principles, and essentially having that love.
The whole motto about Peace Police, Peace Militia is love God, love your neighbor. So we're not training for Instagram or for belts or for looking hot. Being able to fight for a higher purpose, or just train for a higher purpose, for God, for those around you, that's what's going to make all the long, hard training worth it.